Don't shoot the messenger. Today I will show you what our ancestors knew about sun worship, and it predates modern religion. We will discuss everything under the sun and what it truly means. Don't shoot the messenger, because I'm going to reveal something to you all, and it's related to alchemy. But first, guys, I really want to give this disclaimer to everyone out there. It's going to be hard for me to get everything into this particular video because when you start digging into sun worship, it is a very, very deep rabbit hole. And every culture on this planet, when you start tracing it back, has some form of links to sun worship itself. It is engraved in our DNA. It is the life-bringing force on this planet. All plants on this earth require photosynthesis, so photons, which come from the sunlight. But most importantly, the messenger, which is something that we get from the sun, and that is serotonin. Now, recently I've done a video about the 4 major happy chemicals of the body, which is alchemy. Most people don't draw this link, but some people do. Alchemy, or all chemicals, otherwise known as the exchanging of lead to gold. But did you know that there is the chemical process within the body? I'm going to put a lot of screenshots in this video because, like I said, this is a very, very deep rabbit hole, and I want to be able to touch off on all the main points without getting too lost and confusing in what I'm trying to tell you guys. So most importantly, I want to start off and say, what is the messenger traditionally known as? Well, the biggest one would be Hermes and Mercury. And there is a lot of symbology here, right? Because the caudais, which represents the nervous system, and this is how electrical impulses travel through the body. The nervous system is the electrical conduits of the human body. So serotonin, which is something that we get from sunlight, when it enters into our eyeballs through those little black holes, those receptors are sending that sunlight and transforming it into matter, which also increases the signal between the cellular level in the human body. And I find that to be very, very interesting when I stop and really think about how magnificent and amazing that truly is. So Hermes/Mercury, he was the swift-footed messenger of the gods, carrying messages between Olympus and the mortal world. Do you see the link there? Between Olympus and the mortal world. He was also associated with travel, trade, communication, and even guiding souls to the underworld. Very interesting. So the underworld could quite literally be what's beneath the surface when you're looking at another human being. And that's very interesting. Other traditions also have messenger deities. Iris, in Greek mythology, goddess of the rainbow, sometimes depicted as a messenger of the gods, especially Hera. Thoth, in Egyptian mythology, god of writing, wisdom, and communication, acting as a divine scribe and messenger. Now, if you go and start looking into sun worship itself, and then start to click on images and ancient cultures, you will find that we have been engraving images of the sun into stone, into walls, into caves. And we have also been tracking the sun for agriculture ever since the dawn of time. Many traditions, many cultures have used the sun as a way to track the seasonal changes. But how do we track the sun? We do so by the shadow that it creates on the ground. And it's very interesting when you look into Carl Jung's work and we talk about the shadow self, doing shadow work, things that are hidden within the shadows. Very interesting when we start to think about how the sunlight grazes on our skin, but internally there has to be a shadow within us. Ancient cultures knew the true power of the sun. It brings life to this planet. And without the sunlight, all life on this planet perishes. We have in religion many different figures that are related to sun worship, many different cultures. But one of the biggest characters of them all in modern times is Jesus, known as the Son of God. I have done a few videos touching off on this, and one of the biggest things that I have found when it comes to the character of Jesus and the whole archetype of that story, it has to do with emotions. It has to do with the feelings of things. It has to do with psychology. And those who do not understand the psychology behind it will find themselves, let's say, not in a first-person view when it comes to what it is that they are creating in their life. So guys, I'm going to put some screenshots up for you as I read some of this stuff out loud. Sun worship, or heliotery, is one of humanity's oldest and most widespread forms of religious belief. The sun's essential role in providing light, warmth, and life made it a natural object of reverence. Why was the sun worshipped? Well, it is the source of life. The sun's energy drives photosynthesis, making agriculture and virtually all of life on Earth possible. Its warmth protects us from the cold and darkness. Order and time. The sun's daily rising and setting and its annual journey through the sky created the concepts of night and day and the seasons. Solstices and equinoxes are critical markers for planting, harvesting, and religious festivals. The sun was a symbol of cosmic order and predictability. As the brightest and most powerful object in the sky, the sun was a natural symbol of supreme power, royalty, and divine authority. Enlightenment and knowledge. Light is a universal metaphor for truth, wisdom, and consciousness, while darkness represents ignorance, chaos, and evil. The sun was seen as the ultimate source of illumination, both literal and metaphorical. Sun worship was not a single unified religion, but a theme that appeared in diverse belief systems globally. In ancient Egypt, perhaps the most famous sun-worshipping culture, Ra, the primal sun god believed to sail across the sky in a solar barge during the day and journey through the underworld at night, battling through chaos to rise again. He was often merged with other gods such as Amun-Ra to become the supreme deity of Egyptian pantheons. Pharaohs were considered the sons of Ra. In Mesoamerica, the sun was a central and often fearsome deity in many pre-Columbian cultures. The Aztecs, the god of, and I will not even try to pronounce this, I will put the word on the screen. The god of war and the god of sun was a primary deity. Indo-European cultures, many related cultures share common roots to their sun deities. In Hinduism, Surya is the chief solar deity depicted riding a chariot pulled by 7 horses. He is still revered today. Greco-Roman, the Greeks personified the sun as Helios, who drove a golden chariot across the sky. Over time, his attributes were largely absorbed by Apollo, the god of light, music, and reason. The Romans had their own sun god, Sol, unconquered sun, in the later Roman Empire. Late Roman Empire. Sol Invictus. The cult of Sol Invictus became extremely popular in the 3rd century AD, especially among soldiers. The birth of the unconquered sun was celebrated on December 25th, a date corresponding with the Roman winter solstice. Many scholars argue that the date was later chosen for Christmas to co-opt the popular pagan festivals. In Japan, the sun god is the most important deity. The Japanese imperial family has historically claimed direct descent from her, making the sun a powerful symbol of national and imperial identity. The Japanese flag, the circle of the sun, reflects this deep cultural connection. So, guys, most of modern religion has its roots in sun worship, and it is proven, and you can actually experience it for yourself every single time you step outside, and you can feel the sunlight and the warmth on your skin. Every time it rains and the sun comes back out, the grass grows even more. Every time the sun sets or rises, we set our clocks by the sun. We set our calendars by the sun. The seasons, they change based upon the location and the journey of the sun across our planet. But what's very interesting to me is the last part that I just mentioned, the sun being demoted, and then these characters being placed in these places of being a god. You are created in the image of God. So therefore, you are created through imagination, the image or self-esteem of yourself manifest as a man or a woman. And that's very interesting. Alchemy, in its truest sense, is understanding how these chemicals in the body affect the way you feel, the intensity of your emotions, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, your state of consciousness. And to become enlightened is not some kind of rite of passage. It is to simply understand how these chemicals play a role in your makeup, in your DNA. It is not something that is hereditary, that is passed down. No, what is passed down is thought, thinking, lines of thinking. I'm not good enough. That is something that happens when we lose sight of our true power, our true divinity within, our true connection to the sun above, and we below. As above, so below, as within, so without. When you understand your true connection, your true power, the energy of the mind, the electrical impulses of the mind, and you tap into that, and you say boldly over yourself, I am that I am. Who am I not to trust? That I am directly connected to God and all of creation. I do not need a mental person, a figment of my imagination to talk to God, to talk to those 50 to 60 trillion cells in my body, because the serotonin, the messenger, amplifies that signal, and I can send shock waves through my body at any given time. Lastly, I want to say to everyone, what does it mean to be an earth angel? What does that truly mean? I had this epiphany through a dream a few years ago. An earth angel could quite literally go anywhere that God desired them to be. Oftentimes, when we reference the Bible, it is the people who done the most horrific things that became the greatest examples of inspiration that change is possible. So those people walk through those dark places, the shadows of death, the valley of death. Those people are in those places where most people would be ashamed to tell someone that they've been. But an earth angel would never tell you that they're an earth angel. An earth angel would never need the recognition. An earth angel would give openly, honestly, freely, love, compassion, And all of those things without needing anything in return. It's almost like the sunlight does that every day, and Mother Earth continues to grow, continues to support us. No matter how many wars we exact on the face of this planet, no matter how many times we try to destroy one another, Mother Nature continues to grow and the sun continues to light the way. It is only humanity, it is only through man's own deception of self that we have lost our ways and treat each other unkindly because of religions, because of every war being a holy war, every war being a religious war. Self-awareness is so important here. I'll see you guys on the next one.